Get it sexy. She's in the news because she's being slammed by Bernice King, the daughter of slain civil rights leader and activist Martin Luther King. Now, the news just keeps going down, 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 down. But here we are. This year of all years, Donald Trump's inauguration fell on Martin Luther King Day, and a lot of you weren't happy about it. I posted something on social media that got lots of people responding, where Dr. Martin Luther King was telling Donald to hush in a cartoon. Well, MLK Jr.'s youngest daughter, Dr. Bernice King, came for everybody disrespecting him. And this typically happens every year because somebody does something stupid to disrespect an icon like Martin. Well, one of these people was St. Louis rapper Sexyy Redd. Now, but before slamming Sexy, Bernice sunk her claws into politicians and folks like Reverend Lorenzo Sewell, who quoted Dr. Martin Luther King during his prayer at Trump's inauguration. I saw this thing go viral. If you missed it, here it is.
We're asking you not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and every molehill in Mississippi, from every state, every city, every village, and every hamlet. And when we let freedom ring, we will be able to speed up that day where all of your children, black men and white men, Protestant and Catholic, Jew and Gentile, will be able to sing in the meaning of that old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank you, God Almighty. We are free at last. If you believe where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Come on, put your hands together and give your great God great glory.
There just are some stages that you just don't need to be on. That would be one of them. It was the white people in the background laughing at you, just cooning and just looking just stupid. I don't know who you are, never seen you before. You and your gums can pack it up and find somewhere else to go. You know, it's things like that. You know, it's one thing to say we have to accept that Donald Trump is the president, and now we have to figure out a pathway to work with him that doesn't allow us to set aside our character and our integrity. That right there, I don't know how much was involved with you in terms of payment to be there doing that, but that I had third party embarrassment for you. I felt embarrassed as an African American watching you perform that way, and it was watching their faces behind you laughing at you because they knew what you were saying was some bullshit. Well, Martin Luther King's daughter, Dr. Bernice King, had this to say about that. To every politician, the next time you quote my father, let it be in support of voting rights, civil rights, or human rights, or in support of eradicating racism, poverty, and war, or in support of reparations, a livable wage, or ending police brutality. Listen, Bernice has a lot more coup than I do. I don't know how to say that when I see that, but you can say what you think about it in the comments. When you see a video like that, what do you think? Is that just coonery at best?
It's disgusting because you sat there and plagiarized Martin Luther King for the sake of the man standing behind you who literally right after that stripped away everything he could that has been done over the course of 60 years to try and level the playing field for people of color, to try and make America more digestible for people in the way that Martin Luther King would have wanted it to be. So for you to stand there and do that while Donald Trump smirked at you, like, look at my little black man pandering for me, it was disgusting.
That's why I'm like, just read the room, because it was a room full of white people anyways. On Martin Luther King Day at that, it's just crazy.
Well, now Sexyy Red is getting a little bit because she was called out by Dr. Bernice King after posing an AI image of her and MLK. Here's Dr. Bernice King's response to Sexy's post. She said, "This is intentionally distasteful, dishonoring, deplorable, and disrespectful to my family and my father, who is not here to respond himself because he was assassinated for working for your civil rights and human rights and to end war and poverty. Please delete." Sexy appeared to have only posted one photo, but it was taken from this AI video. Take a look. So I'm not sure what she was fighting, because she would have been fighting civil rights in that matter. Well, Dr. Bernice soon caught backlash for blasting Sexy's post and clarified her attack. Take a look. She said, "Please don't project your thoughts on me. I don't believe Sexyy Red to be a degenerate, ghetto, or trash. I have spoken out in the past about the use and comparison to either of my parents to denigrate other people. I just don't understand this type of use of my father's image on MLK Day, no less, in a way that does not convey what we know to be true about his service and sacrifice. Even if you disagree with him or with his tactics, or even believe things said about him by people who hated him, why do this? I mean, I think that was a fair response. I mean, her father was killed as a result of fighting for all of our freedoms. Her mother, who was also equally iconic, who stood by him at a time where half of you won't stand by your baby daddy if he comes home from the store too late. You know, this is a generation that does not understand or respect the legacy of icons that paved the way for all of us to have the freedoms that we are giving away today. So Sexyy eventually apologized, and this is what she said. She said, you ain't wrong. Never meant to disrespect your family. My apologies. Just reposted something I saw that I thought was innocent. Well, let me give Sexyy a round of applause for at least apologizing. Because she could have had her hands on my knees, ham on knees, or whatever else she does. But she didn't. She apologized. And, you know, again, I think there's just a major disconnect between this generation and all of what people fought for and sacrificed to get here. To think about it, you're growing up as a kid, your houses are getting firebombed, your father's getting assassinated, your mother's getting death threats, you're getting death threats, probably can't go to school because everybody know your daddy's the one trying to free the blacks. And so I just think there's just a disconnect and a lack of humanity. But I mean, that was a distasteful post, but she didn't make the AI, somebody else did. But to reshare it, I could understand why it would make her feel a certain way.
But also, too, I think she just shared that screenshot because I saw the photo go up and I thought they were like slow dancing, like waltzing. I didn't know it was a video of them fighting and duking it out. I don't even know if she thought that, but I feel like she did the right thing. She took ownership.
Yeah, and this is why I keep saying it's so important that people stop saying, oh, black people need to stop living in the past and because we are slowly forgetting the history that was not that long ago. Like, we need to continue to honor these people who fought for us to be in a position we are today. And if we keep like moving in the direction we are, it's just going to completely go away, especially since they're trying to remove that from school.
Well, think about it. Who do we have as civil rights activists to fight for us after these people pass on?
None.
You all are in trouble. I'm finna just lock myself in the house. Well, I'll be out in the streets of Stockton as the vice mayor. But other than that, every other thing around me, I'm going to let you all burn it down, because what I know for a fact is that people are just disconnect. There's something not going to the penthouse in your minds to tell you that this is all not registering as things that make sense. It's Dr. Martin Luther King Day. On a day where a president is being inaugurated that has created a big division in the world. So just within that, there's something there. And instead of saying we're so excited to make this all about Martin Luther King, y'all are out with the AI videos hotboxing with the slain civil rights leader. I don't know. Either way, Bernice accepted the apology, and this is what Bernice said. She said, "Thank you for your apology, which I sincerely accept. Please know that it was not my intention that you be denigrated. I value you as a human being. I hope you understand my concerns about the image. I know that my father has become a bit of a caricature to the world, and that his image is often used with no regard to his family, his sacrificial work, or to the tragic, unjust way in which he died a state-sanctioned assassination. Unfortunately, I regularly challenge the disregard. I earnestly wish that people would imagine what it would feel like to see their deceased murdered father repurposed for party flyers, unjust legislation, etc. All the best to you, young lady." A state-sanctioned assassination. What does that mean? Is she saying that it was orchestrated?
Yeah.
From the government?
Yeah.
Didn't Trump say he was going to unclassify the murders of not Martin Luther King, Malcolm X and Robert Kennedy Jr.'s father?
He just made that announcement today. I think he said that he's trying to do it. Yeah.
So is that going to show that the government had something to do with that?
I hope so, or they're going to try and...
But that would just make more people trust him and not trust the government, because they're going to see the government kill their leaders. Hands on my knees, hands on my knees. You know, I was in a club once, Sexyy was hosting here in LA. And I was looking around the room as everybody in there, her age group, were rapping every single lyric to her song. And the songs are, you know, they're good trash. Not like trashy songs, no good, but like they're good, but the lyrics are just filthy. And I looked at my friend and I said, this is why Kamala Harris lost. Because
You
this
know what?
generation knows more about Sexyy Red lyrics and Kodak Black and the Black attack than they do civil rights, history, legislation, how to be active. And the sad part is that elections have real life consequences. And so, like, while we all haven't felt everything yet, y'all gonna feel it. We're pulling out of the World Health Organization. God forbid another pandemic hit. So all of y'all right now that don't have your soups lined up and your water and your paper towels, the ones that he threw at the Puerto Ricans, you don't have your businesses intact. If another pandemic hits right now, the way that they are pulling out of all of the WHO and not believing in vaccines, good luck. Good luck. Me, Gucci, and Chanel are going to be in the house with masks on. I'm not even going to let Yvonne come over and clean up anything because I don't want nothing to come over. Why? Because it's going to be another slew of mass murder, because that's really what that pandemic was to me. When one of my sisters ended up dying of COVID. So, I mean, I hope that you all know that while we're entertaining you with these topics, that we're actually dropping gems. You need to do your research. Go look at all the legislation that has been passed over the years that just got signed away in one sitting by the person that y'all voted in office. And y'all performing at the inauguration. I can't. Just go ahead.